Only on Fox Carolina News tonight, the trial for several suspects accused of killing a 15-year-old is now underway.
Kiro Zaki, or Kiro, as his family called him, was found shot to death just days before Christmas in Piedmont. Shortly after that shooting, investigators arrested Jamazio Glover, and a week later, Braylon Brown. Both suspects were 18 years old at the time. David Mosley and Jalen Hill were also arrested, and at the time, they were minors. They're now being tried as adults in General Session Court. All four suspects face multiple charges, including murder. And today in court, we learned shocking details of what happened the night of Kiro's murder.
Now, the prosecution says Kiro was hanging out with a group of friends when three of them decided they wanted to rob him. Later that night, he was found beaten and shot to death inside his own car. Now, three co-defendants, Braylon Brown, David Mosley, and Jalen Hill, in court today, all on trial, charged with murder, conspiracy, and attempted armed robbery. Now, the prosecution says the group had been hanging out with Kiro and some other friends just hours before he was killed in December of 2019. They were all spotted on surveillance video at a Spinks gas station in Greenville County. The prosecution says Kiro told them that he had some hundreds on him, so they conspired to rob him. The prosecution then says the co-defendants and Kiro later left Spinks in Kiro's car, and he drove them to Mansion Circle. When he got out, the prosecution says the co-defendants started beating him. Kiro got in his car and attempted to drive away when the prosecution says Braylon Brown opened fire on the car.
These three co-defendants attempted to rob him. They beat Carlos until they realized that he had nothing to give them. They wanted to steal what they thought was a few dollars in his pocket and ended up with nothing. And in the end, Carlos was shot and killed for nothing.
Now, the attorney representing Brown acknowledges a dispute happened that night, but Brown was not involved. Attorneys representing the other two men say that there are a lot of different stories about what happened that night, and they may never know exactly how everything transpired, but they believe the prosecution has made a lot of assumptions.
You're going to have to compare the versions of all of the people. You're going to have to compare different versions that one individual might say on a number of different occasions. You're going to have to put all that together to, again, render a verdict which speaks the truth beyond a reasonable doubt. And I think you will see at the end of this that some of it's a little clearer than others, and that's what you've got to figure out.
Now, court resumes tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.